Hello everyone, welcome to ARTG131 3D Game Art Production. This is an online summer course where we're going to cover a lot of different topics around the 3D game art pipeline. This video is for me to introduce the course to you. I'm making another one to talk a little bit more about myself and other parts of the course. This one is going to be focused solely on the course, so let's get started. So ARTG131 is a intro course to a very long and highly technical process of making 3D game art assets. And it's supposed to cover almost every single part of the pipeline, which I just mentioned is really long. It misses a couple of steps. It misses 3D sculpting, which we just don't have time to cover, and which is usually done in ZBrush and sometimes Blender and other applications. And then also we stop at rigging, so we don't do rigging. And there's another class also in the summer program that teaches rigging and animation for characters specifically. So we cover the creation of digital 3D game art assets, minus the sculpting part, which is already quite a lot to do in 10 weeks. So what you're going to get out of this class, however, is a really good overview of the entire process, and you're going to be able to create your own assets with production level quality. So it should be really fun. This is my second time teaching this class. The first time was an actual class on campus. We put in a lot of work putting this online course together. We're really excited, and I'm really excited to teach it for you. So let me get into it. So like I said, this is an intro course. There's going to be parts of it that will feel a little bit rushed, a little cursory, but that's just part of the course. We have to be adaptable and understand that what we're doing here is trying to introduce the entire process. However, we do cover professional level techniques. So 3D is highly technical, like I mentioned. It's very deep, and you're not going to get a chance to do everything because nobody, even if you spend years in the industry, you cannot do everything. But you're going to learn every single part of the process, and that's the most important part. What you're going to be making in this class, you're going to be making a lot of stuff, but mostly you're going to be concentrating on one specific asset, and that's going to be a loot box. So the dreaded loot box, or loved, depending on your luck, I guess. We're going to be doing one of those, and you can make any kind of loot box you imagine. So loot box, the first thing that comes to mind is like the Overwatch, typical loot box, and they do a few variations of those. But that concept is really, really open to you. And you can choose to do whatever you want as long as it kind of retains the sort of a container metaphor. In the course intro, I give you some examples of how far you can take that concept, and I imagine some folks will take it even further. So just go into the course intro, you're going to see more of that. I'll talk more about that system in a bit. Besides me in this course, you're also going to be working with teaching assistants. In this case, we have one this summer. And then the role of the teaching assistant is to do grading, to do troubleshooting, and to be sort of your first point of contact for everything course related. So while I'll be doing all the demos and tutorials and instruction, the TA is going to be doing a lot of the troubleshooting, a lot of the one-to-one talk with you guys. They're going to have their own office hours. They're separate from mine. And they'll be doing, like I said, doing the grading for your projects. In this course, a very, very important part of this course is that since it's an online course, you're in charge of hardware and software. And with that said, what I mean by that is you're going to be doing all the downloading and installing of the software, obviously, but also you're going to have to have the appropriate hardware to run the software. We chose specific software that I'll mention in a second to teach because it's professional and industry standard. And so it's your responsibility to make sure that you have a computer that can run that software, and also that you take good care of that computer so it doesn't slow you down or cause issues later. The software that we're going to be working on, before I get to the software, one more part of the hardware is really important, is the input devices. So you need to have a 3-button mouse or a drawing tablet. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to complete the material of this course. So a 2-button mouse is not going to work, and a tablet, like say an iPad, is also not going to work unless you find there's some workarounds. But usually, you want a drawing tablet or a 3-button mouse. That should be pretty easy. So the software we're going to be working with is Autodesk Maya for 3D modeling, UV unwrapping, and retopology. And we're going to be doing Photoshop for textures, a little bit of Photoshop for textures. And then we're going to move on to Substance Painter, which is probably a software that a lot of folks are not familiar with, for texture painting, texture baking, and a lot of really fun stuff. And finally, we're going to move on to the Unity game engine, where you're going to be implementing your asset. All of the software listed above besides Photoshop is free on an educational license. If you're enrolled in this course, you should be able to get it for free. So again, it's your responsibility to download and install that software in a timely manner. The only software here that isn't free is Photoshop, but basically whatever 2D editing application that you want to use is fine. I'm going to be using Photoshop to demo the stuff to you, but if you want to use GIMP or Paint Tool SI or whatever, that's fine. As long as it supports layers, we're good with it. Photo editing, image editing, that's all you need. The syllabus is so there's two main documents that you're going to go for when you look for information about this class. There's the syllabus, and then there's the course intro. Course intro is what we're doing right now. I'm actually going through the course intro step by step. You have to read all of that in full. There's a lot of information that I'm not going to cover in the video, so go for that. The syllabus is going to have the more technical information that's more related with resources that the school offers you, the grading policy and things like that. So you should read both of them, get acquainted with both of them. The way that we're going to be doing a lot of the work in this class is using Canvas, which is our learning management system at Ucsc and many other schools. And you need to be familiar with Canvas. If you're not, there's a document on the course intro and a page on Canvas itself that intros you to the platform and lets you understand how it works. It's pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to be turning in all your assignments through Canvas. You're going to be finding all the content on Canvas. So there's not going to be a separate website for this. It's just everything's going to be housed on Canvas. That said, there is a major component to this course. It's an online course that I wanted to create, which is a Discord server. So we're going to have our own Discord server. It's already created. You can find the link on Canvas. And every student is required to participate in the server. Myself and the TA are also going to be there. The Discord server is going to be our main point of contact for anything discussion related, so troubleshooting, ideas, questions about the course, etc. That are not specific to, say, maybe you're going through a hard time or whatever. That should be handled through email. But everything else, we're all going to do that on Canvas. Another very important thing about this too is that every time that you turn in an assignment to this course, you're also going to be turning in an image on on Discord, so that everybody else in the course can see what everybody's working on. So we're going to strive to make this a really fun experience and a really collaborative learning environment, and Discord is going to be a major part of that. So now let me talk you through a little bit of how this course is going to work as far as the format. So it's an online course. Probably many of you have not done this before or taken an online class before, like as structured as this one. So let me explain a little bit how that's going to work. So this course has a series of modules, and the way that the modules work is they house specific pieces of content. So let's say 3D modeling has its own module, UV mapping has its own module, texture painting has its own module, and so on and so forth. And they all correspond to one part of the pipeline. Inside the modules, you're going to find multiple pages. In these pages, you're going to see sometimes videos, sometimes video lectures, and sometimes straight up just a website with information on it. There are some of those that are required. Almost all of those are required, and some of them are optional. Inside the modules, you're also going to find the assignments with the assignment description. That's the only place you're going to find this content. And so, so that's how we're going to split it up. The modules are going to be unlocking almost weekly. Sometimes it's going to take a couple of weeks for modules to unlock, depending on how much content the module covers. And it unlocks on Monday morning, I believe at 12 a.m. Monday. They unlock. So check out for that. Due dates. So every assignment is going to be due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. unless otherwise noted. So they get posted on Monday and then they're due on Sunday. That if there is a difference in due date, you should check out the assignment description. You should be clear there. On Canvas, it should also be clear when the assignment is due. This is a very time-consuming medium that we're working on. 3D modeling takes a lot of time. The more time you put in, the better your work is going to be. It's very, very responsive to time spent. So do not leave it until the final day to do work. Otherwise, your work is going to suffer. Just talking a little bit about how the content of this course is going to be delivered to you. So there is a mixture of little lectures like this, which is usually me speaking to the camera, speaking to you. Very few of those. Most of them are going to be software demos where I'm recording myself speak and doing something and demoing a technique for you. Sometimes I'm going to be like, tiny on the bottom of the screen. Most of the time, I'm going to be just talking, and the software is going to be what you're going to be looking at. The other parts of this is that there's going to be sped up videos, sort of like if you've seen speed painting before or speed sculpting videos before on YouTube. It's exactly like that, but in this case is these sped up videos are basically me doing the assignment. So if there's an assignment on high resolution 3D modeling, there's going to be a sped up video of me doing high resolution 3D modeling. If there's one on UV unwrapping, I'm going to be doing UV unwrapping, and they're sped up because sometimes it can take a couple hours to be done, so so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. Those don't have voiceovers. They're just videos of me working and with song in the background. And they're supposed to be, and they're really short. They're sped up so that the 2 hours become like 15-20 minutes, and they're supposed to be sort of like your window into my process. Everybody has their own process, and it kind of demystifies the idea that these 3D assets are so complicated and difficult to make. If you watch a video, you can be like, oh, okay, that's how Marcelo made that part. The other thing too is that I'd like sometimes to work with a stream going on a separate window. I feel like it's sometimes it gets lonely when you're working on your own, so it's nice to have like another person working on stuff. And also sometimes you get like little tidbits of cool information or techniques that you catch in this video. So these videos are not required. They're there for your to enrich your experience, but they're not required. One thing that I like to point out about these course tutorials is that there are many tutorials online. There's so many courses online. So this is our version of what I think and we think is the best process to do this stuff. But it is totally okay, and in fact encouraged, for you to supplement your education with other videos, other tutorials, other courses, other techniques. There's absolutely no way whatsoever that I can ever teach you everything that you need to know about 3D. In fact, like I've been working on this for a decade at this point, and I'm still learning. So it is very encouraged for you to go look for your own stuff. Some of them are like really well produced. In fact, better produced than ours, even, because that's what they do for a living. So you're going to find a lot of good content. But I guarantee you that everything that you see in this class is compatible with the best out there. A little word on assignments. So this class does not have finals, midterm on a final. What it does have is assignments every single week. So every single week you're going to turn in at least one assignment. Usually it's just one assignment, and they correspond to the steps in the pipeline, like I mentioned before. And they're all worth 10 points, unless otherwise noted. There might be a couple of them that are like slightly less. And so your final grade is actually going to be a combination of all of those and the percentage that you got in relationship to the total points, right? So let's say there's 120 assignments. You got 60 points. That's 50%, right? That's actually a failing grade. So don't do that. But you know what I'm saying. So that it should be really clear to you that you're not going to be working on a final project that's worth 40 points. Every single step of the way is worth the same amount of points, and that's how we're going to do grading in this class. As far as like our philosophy for grading, so we're not going to be grading only on the quality of your output. That's important, but what we most grade on is effort. So if you came into this class with no 3D experience, but you put in the work and you show us that you put in the work by submitting extra stuff, by participating on the Discord, by answering questions, by showing screenshots of in progress work, you're going to get a great grade. You're going to do well in this class, in fact. Whereas if you kind of like drag your feet for most of the course, and you're kind of like, oh, whatever, I don't really care about this, I'm just going to do it in the end, and you turn in this amazing asset, you're probably not going to do that well because it doesn't show that you actually put in the effort. So we grade on effort as much as possible. The more you show us, the easier it is for us to grade. I want to talk a little bit about, because this is a highly technical class, about troubleshooting and asking for help. Again, this is in the course introduction page on Canvas, and you should really read everything from start to finish. But we do ask you to go through a series of specific steps to ask for help. And the reason is because there's me and there's a TA and there's your peers, but there are a lot of people in this class, dozens of people. And so to make the process work for everybody, we have to create sort of like a habit of doing this the right way. And the right way that we're going to try to do is the first thing you do, let's say you have a technical question, you're stuck somewhere in the process, you don't know what to do. You go on Discord, you go to that Get Help channel. There's already Get Help channel created. You flip through it and see if you can find something there that like answers your questions. Hopefully you got an answer. If not, then you're going to go search for the internet for a possible solution. Basically be proactive and try to find the answer yourself. So, check out YouTube videos, hopefully ones that are like, from creators that are actually know what the hell they're doing, and try to find that answer online. If you do find it, go back to Get Help, post the answer to your own question, because then it's going to help everybody else. If the internet fails you and Get Help is not giving you the response, then either tag us, one of the instructors, so that's fine. Or you can also log into the office hours, which are going to be posted on Canvas, and ask your question then. So it is not guaranteed that myself or the TA are going to be on Discord at all times. I tend to use it a lot in my classes. I love it. But especially weekends, I'm probably not going to be around at all. So it is good for you to attend the office hours during the week. And hopefully that will get you through. Once in a while, you're going to find a technical question that halts you from doing work, but that's rare. Most of the time, it's a part of the process that is giving you a hard time or is taking forever. And my advice with that is move on, right? Like move on to a different part of the process, or leave that aside and pick it up later. Maybe go take a breather. Don't get stuck forever on the same problem. And in fact, in 3D and many art forms, you have so many options to solve one issue. It's not just one solution. So try to be like adaptable, I guess is the word here. You're gonna see in a couple of my demos, I do run into problems sometimes. Maybe Maya crashes, which is can happen. Or I can't figure out why this interface thing is not working, or this process is taking too long. I'm not going to get stuck. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. If I need, I can go online and search for the answer to learn something new. But if I still can't find the answer, you know what? Delete it, start over. Move on with your life. Right? That's how you're going to keep making stuff. In fact, this is going to happen in your professional life anyways. So that's that. And just a final thing on asking questions. Like I mentioned before, if it is a personal issue, it's an issue with the course, or there's something else going on, email us, right? Don't go on Discord, just email us. Sorry, the background's glitching a little. Again, technical issues are part of the experience. Okay, so this is an online course. It is over the summer, which means that the weather is going to be nice, and maybe you're a little burnt out from the quarter, or you have other stuff going on. So it is very, very important for you to be aware of that and then plan accordingly. So for me personally, what I'm going to do is I have a set schedule for me to do work over the summer, and I follow that schedule, because if I don't do that, then I just things fall out of my mind, or I start crunching, and crunching is horrible. So since it's an online course, it's very self-directed. Develop the habit of logging in on Monday, seeing the new content, watching a video or two, and then setting specific times of the day throughout the week to actually do the work, because it does take a lot of time to do this stuff. But we calculate about 12 hours a week for this course for you. So think about that for how that relates to your schedule. Another thing that you have to be very, very, very proactive about is backing up your work. Cannot stress this enough. In fact, we might even create a bot on Discord to remind people to back up their work. Technical issues, computer breaking, all that kind of stuff, that they're on you. So it's the online course, right? So that's your responsibility. And there's nothing we can do about that. So it's your responsibility to take care of your own work. You can also find more about the grading scale and the how you get a B or an A or whatever in this course on the intro page. The breakdowns are there for you. And other than that's about it. You're gonna every document that I make, I put a lot of work into kind of adding links to where the page, to the correct page on Canvas or offsite if I need to show you a specific thing. So follow the links, take a look at that, take your time. Your first week is going to be kind of light on work. I mean, depends. You can really go all out in the first week, but we're gonna spend a lot of time doing the setup, logging onto Discord, making sure everybody's on there, on the same page. And then second week, we gotta hit the ground running and just go, because there's a lot of stuff to cover. I'm super stoked to teach this class. It's a material that I really love, something that I love to work on whenever I'm doing work in prep for this class, or kind of doing the assignment, like I said, on the sped up videos with you. Like I love it. So it's really fun. In the end, you're gonna get this really beautiful 3D piece of art that you made. Students in my classes that have done this before enjoyed it a lot. So I expect this to be a really fun quarter for everybody. So that's it. That's it for the intro video. Like I said, I'm going to introduce myself in a different video, and let's go. Let's make some beautiful artwork. I'll see you during the summer.